Hi, and welcome to Tika's Teachables. I'm down at the studio right now, and I have some visitors I'd like to introduce to you. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can see them. Say hi to Dave, and Abraham, Brooke, Amber, and Matthew. We are painting watercolors today. We are going to do some watercolor thank you cards, and I'm going to go ahead and show you our materials for today. Okay, so we have real simple materials here. We have a palette with several colors to choose from. We've got 2 brushes, some nice heavy-duty watercolor paper. It's pretty thick. We're going to fold those in half to make cards from them. Other than that, just a paper towel and a cup of water. And I'm gonna let the boys kind of do their own thing, Brooke and Amber as well. I'm gonna give them some instructions, but otherwise, this is something that anybody can do with any of their kids, any age, even little ones. So the first thing we're gonna do is a wet on wet technique. And so I'm just gonna take my flat brush here and I'm gonna wet the whole surface of the paper. And the kiddos are gonna do the same thing. It doesn't matter if it goes all the way to the edges or not. We just want the surface wet. The paper might buckle up a little bit, and that's fine. And then I'm going to pick a color I like. And I think I'm going to get this blue. I'm just going to get some blue, and I can do little squiggles through there. I can rinse it. You can see it's starting to blur a little bit. And how about some green? You guys can choose whatever colors you want. And I'm going to do this right next to the other one. And I can rinse. Here again. This time I'll do purple.
Why are you so good?
And you can see it's dripping a little bit because my paper was curved, and that's okay. It'll give it some cool designs. You can turn it around different directions. So you guys can do whatever designs you want like that. And I can take some pink. And if you make it really watery on these little watercolor cakes, like I'll stir this around to get that, see how I've got some paint in there. Now I can tap my brush a little bit and leave some drips on there. Did I get yours?
No.
Okay. If you get some on there, the nice part about watercolors, if you don't like it, you can just wet your brush, clean it off, and then you can wipe it off or use your paper towel. So a lot of flexibility with watercolors. So I can leave these areas blank, or I can put more color in there. I'm going to let you guys decide how you want to do yours. So this was the wet on wet technique, and that's where we get blurry lines like this. Now if I want to make these ones blurry where I had it before and they kind of got solid lines, I can just come right on top with some more water. And I can even take maybe a different shade of blue. And I'll come and tap that color in there and let it do what it wants to do too. Nice streak of color there. And then I'll let this dry. So we've finished our first painting, and it's just kind of a blurry design, nothing in particular, it's not images of anything. So while these are drying, we're gonna work on our second one. So I'll put that one to the side, and we each have a second sheet of paper. And I forgot to tell you these earlier. We have a micron pen. These are ink pens that are waterproof. So this is something that if you wanted to draw something first, these are perfect because then they don't get blurry like if you used a regular marker. So I'm going to turn it this way, knowing that later I'll be folding this in half like a card. So I'm just going to write on this side here. And if I wanted to do something, this is just an idea. These are thank you cards. So what if I had heart-shaped balloons? Okay, so I haven't painted this one yet. It's dry paper, but now I have the ink on there. I'm going to use a smaller brush, and let's see, I'll take some green, and I can come in here, and I have way more control when the paper is dry versus the first technique where we did the wet paper first. So I'll rinse out the brush, pick a new color.
Why is this so cool?
Why is it so cool? I don't know, I think art is pretty cool.
Where's my paper?
So something like that. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with this. I'll fill in each of the balloons, and then I want a little bit of a sky behind it, so I'm just gonna take some of the light blue, and I can put it in there. And I don't want those lines in my sky, so now I can wet it, so it just kind of floats around the balloons. I'll paint in that ribbon also. So we're gonna keep painting, and then we'll show you the next step we're doing. My first card is dry now, and you could leave it large like this. Brooke has a drawing that she did all the way across, so I recommended that she do it like a giant postcard, and she can put her note on the back instead of folding her pretty painting on right down the middle. This one I intended to fold down the middle, so what I'm gonna do is flip it over, and the middle, you can measure it and mark it. In fact, I'll do that real quick so you can see where I'm at. This is 4.5, it's a 9-inch length, so I'll just mark the middle, and then I'll line up those dots, and I'm going to take this here and press hard down that center line. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a fold mark there. It'll make it so much easier to fold it. So it's called scoring the paper. It's a thick cardstock. So by folding it, I can now have a nice crease there, and it'll fit in my envelopes. So that's what I did with that. Now that this is dry, I can I could paint letters on top of it, and it's not going to get blurry like it did the first time because it's dry, or I can use the pen on here, and I can write something as simple as thanks. I almost spelled it wrong. Like that. Real simple, pretty design. I can open it up and put a personal note inside now. The other one we were doing, this is actually almost dry now, so I'll be able to show you the same thing. I did end up painting what will be the back side of my card. There's the rest of my balloons filled in. Same thing, I'll flip it over. I could mark the middle again, but you saw how to do that. I'll take the corner of the ruler. You could also do this with the back end of like the paintbrush. In fact, I'll do that this time. I'll just score that with heavy pressure. It left some mark from the paint on the brush, and it allows me to fold it and crease it. So now I've got 2 cards, and same thing, I can open this up and write a note in there. You guys want to show your cards?